Being called to a purpose that is uncommon or differs from conventional expectations can feel both challenging and unique from a biblical perspective. Many people in the Bible experienced their calling in ways that set them apart from those around them. Here, let's explore this concept through scripture references, examples, and explanations. Divine calling. The Bible speaks of a divine calling where God has specific plans for individuals. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 states, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, and before you were born I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." This highlights that God knows each person intimately and has a purpose for them, even before they are born. Uncommon callings. Many biblical figures had callings that were uncommon compared to societal norms. Moses, in Exodus chapter 3 verse 10, Moses was called to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. Despite his reluctance and feelings of inadequacy, God equipped him with what he needed. His calling was unique since he grew up in Pharaoh's palace, yet was called to deliver his people from oppression. David, in 1 Samuel chapter 16 verses 11 to 13, David was anointed as a king when he was just a shepherd boy. He faced skepticism and opposition, but he embraced an uncommon path that ultimately led him to fulfill God's purpose and become a man after God's own heart. Isolation and obedience. Often those with uncommon callings feel isolated or misunderstood. Noah, in Genesis chapters 6 to 9, built an ark in a time when rain was not even a common occurrence. His obedience was crucial to fulfilling God's plan, despite the ridicule he faced. Empowerment by God. God equips individuals for their calling, regardless of how different it may seem. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 27 to 29, it says, "But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong." This indicates that uncommon purposes might often appear foolish or weak to the world. Trusting God's plan. Individuals called to an uncommon purpose must trust that God has a reason for their specific path, much like Esther, who was called to save her people, stating, "And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther 4:14. Community support. Surrounding oneself with supportive community can help validate and strengthen the resolve to pursue an uncommon calling. Acts 13:2 illustrates how the church at Antioch prayed and set apart Barnabas and Saul for their missionary work together. Seek God's guidance. Spend time in prayer and reflection to understand your unique strengths and the desires God has placed in your heart. Be open to change. Sometimes uncommon purposes may require stepping out of your comfort zone. Being adaptable and willing to grow can help you embrace your journey. Engage with others. Finding communities or groups that share similar experiences can provide encouragement and understanding. Having an uncommon calling can lead to feelings of uncertainty and isolation, but it is essential to remember that God equips those He calls and has a plan for each individual life. Exploring the truth in Scripture, finding examples of faithfulness, and trusting in God's guidance creates a path forward, even for those with unusual purposes. Books: The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, The Call by Os Guinness. Bible study. Consider joining a small group focused on themes of calling and purpose within a local church or community. Online articles. Explore articles on Christian websites like Crosswalk or Desiring God, which often discuss themes of purpose and calling. This journey of faith and purpose is uniquely yours, and pursuing it can lead to great fulfillment both personally and spiritually.